found an old example that I showed my students a while ago. We went through this a little bit together. I started with this data up here. This is the distance that slugs travel in 1 hour. I had 3 slugs, and they all have different distances that they travel. And what we did is we went through this together, and we did these things. So when we're making our table, we discussed things like cell widths. I can make cells wider or skinnier. I can merge cells. I can make all these cells be connected into one. I can wrap cells, and we haven't talked about that one yet. And if I have too much data and I don't want to necessarily stretch out my cell really, really long, I can make it so that the data wraps around on it, and I'll just go show you what it ends up looking like. So here we have slug 1 distance in inches, and you can see that instead of it being in one line, we've stacked on top of each other. That's right here, that's text wrapping, and if you go over it, it wraps the text, wraps extra long text into multiple lines so you can see it all. Talked a little bit about cell formatting, some borders, shading the cells, centering things, renaming the sheet, and then exporting it. And what I mean by exporting it is a lot of times we don't necessarily want this in a spreadsheet. I'm making this table and I want to put it into a document. So we talked about that as well. Then for the plot, we put one set of data on there, we fit a line, we add the equation, we put another set of data, we did another line, we put a title on, we labeled our axes, we edited our legend, we changed the marker colors and types, we resized things, we added extra things, and by the time we were done, we got something that looked kind of like this. So I have this table here, and it's color-coded, and it's pretty easy to follow. And then I have this plot here, which has the same color coordination on there. So slug 3 is green in this picture over here on the table. It's also the green lines over in the plot. What we want to do is I might want to put this into a Word document. And so simply what you can do is you can just copy what you have, Control C, and then open up a Word document, and you can just Control V to paste, or you can right-click, go to paste, and it's going to give you a bunch of options. Just the way that it looks, keep the formatting that it looked like. I could take the coloring out. We could do a few other things onto it. Some of them look very similar. For the most part, we want to keep it pretty much the same. I can do the same thing for the plot. I can copy this plot, and I can paste it. So then I can resize it in here if I want to, do different things. I can add a caption to it. I can put this into a lab write-up or a report of some sort. I also want to show you that you can do this using Google Docs. So here is a plot that we did. I can copy it. One way to do that is these 3 dots up in the corner of my table, or sorry, of my plot. Go to Copy Chart, and then we're going to go to a document, and I can paste it. And we can paste it unlinked. Basically, it takes a picture of it, and we can put it in there, or we can link it to the spreadsheet. And sometimes this is an okay thing to do. And I'll show you what happens if we do that. If I go to paste, it looks good. It looks like the way that it should. But then if we go back and I change something, let's say I change this to 30, and when I do this, this is my X and my Y1. This blue triangle right here where my cursor's at is going to move up to about 30. And so we see the blue triangle moved up to right here. If I go back to my document, you'll see that it looks the way that it used to, but it gives me the option to update it. It realized that something changed in the original spreadsheet, and I can go ahead and click update, and it will update it. And so this is almost like a live link. I can go ahead and put stuff into here, and as I change it, and if I want to do a whole bunch of changes, I can go ahead and do that. I could just make all of these be 30, get a straight line across, and again, it's going to say, do you want to update this? And there we go. So it's good not only to be able to make these, to be able to get data from them, but eventually we're going to want to communicate things. And we can go ahead and do that by putting things, charts, plots, tables, into our documents and our lab reports and our projects.